Hey everyone, Neely here. I'm a senior product manager at GoDaddy by day and a freelance website designer by night. Here to talk to you about how to use the hub to collect payments from your clients and ultimately just get paid for the hard work that you put in. I'm going to take you through how to use our invoicing product, a little bit about best practices when it comes to invoicing, and a couple of other tips and tricks along the way. Let's go ahead and dive right in and I'll show you how to do it. So right now, invoicing is only available to customers in the United States, but we'll be looking to expand this to other countries in the near future. If you've already set up invoicing, you'll have these little squares here showing off your paid, your sent, and your past due invoices. If you haven't yet, you can scroll down to the bottom and there'll be a little call out in this section under Grow Your Business that you can click to kind of get started. When you first get started with invoicing, you'll have a quick little application form asking about your business details and your bank information and things like that. But once you are started, you can access all of your invoices on this left-hand navigation menu and just click Invoices. You can see here, I have a lot of random invoicing since this is my test account, but I'll take you through a little bit about what's going on here. The invoicing product lets you send an invoice to your clients for whatever amount that you want. It's only going to take 2.3% on the transaction fee as opposed to the industry standard of 2.9%. So it does let you keep a little bit more of your money than that 30 cents per transaction. But you can see here, you can see all of your paid, your sent, your past due, and your drafts. The invoicing lets you send one-time payments as well as recurring series of payments. So if you charge your clients for hosting services or website maintenance services, or if you have a retainer, you can easily set up a recurring invoice here. There's a lot of other settings that you can go check out under your payouts and merchant info and transaction and just finer detailed settings here. But I'm going to show you how you can actually set up and send an invoice to your client. You can click the button up here or click the floating action button, or we call it the FAB for short, and hit New Invoice. A full page takeover will appear, keeping it very siloed to just this experience to not get distracted. You're going to either choose a new client from the list or add a new client here if you need it. I'm going to go ahead and choose one of my clients, which is ultimately just me, awesome client name, my awesome business, and that email address. Now you'll be presented with some options here. So the item name. So if you want to do web design services for this awesome website design or whatever you want to call it here. The quantity, if you maybe do hourly or if it's just by project, you can do it that way as well. Now, what I typically recommend when it comes to newer designers and developers with these different projects is at least do a 50% deposit upfront and a 50% deposit upon the final build. Now, if it's a larger project, you might want to do maybe 25, 25, 25 or some type of installment. But I would almost never recommend waiting until the very end to collect the entire payment. Have some sort of deposit up front. That way you have a little bit of cash on hand to kind of keep you through, because sometimes you might estimate a project's going to take maybe 2 weeks, but it ends up taking 6 months or vice versa. So you want to make sure that you're not strapped for cash and everyone's happy at the end of the day. So you can continue to add additional items if needed and add these up. If there were maybe some miscellaneous charges, who knows? But if you need to remove it, you can go ahead and remove it here. If you want to add a discount, you can do so here. Usually for like nonprofits or charities and things like that, I'll do a little bit of a discount. If there's tax that's applicable to where you invoice, you can add it here. I'm not a tax expert, so I don't even want to jump into this. But you can see the total due is shown there, that $1,400, because I have my one $1,500 option and then my $100 discount. Now, if this is just a one-time payment, I can do repeat never. If I want this to be sent monthly or a custom date or biweekly or weekly, I can do so here. So if I did weekly, so this would happen every Tuesday, it would send out this invoice to the client. Now, this is not going to auto bill once they set up. We don't have that feature added yet, but I believe it is coming pretty soon. So keep an eye out on the what's new section inside the hub. You can modify this if needed as you kind of go on. I'm going to go ahead and just do a one-time payment. I can choose to send this in 7 days immediately and 14 days at the end of the month. I'm going to choose to send it immediately. And then we'll do a little bit of a leeway. So it's due in 7 days. You can add an invoice ID here if you keep track of your numbers in a specific way. If not, it'll automatically add something there. You'll need to add an invoicing summary. And then if you want to add a little thank you message, you can add it down here. So thanks so much. Pleasure doing business with you. Perfect. So I can save the draft, I can cancel, I can exit out, or I can review it and send. So when I click that, it's going to show the invoicing number. I can either edit it or delete it if needed when it's due. I can see some other information in the email that gets sent out. I'll copy this just so we can see what the client's going to see when they get it on their side. But this is the invoice that's going to be sent out to their client. It has your information, has the totals, has the client. And then I'm going to go ahead and click send. And that is sent off to the client. You can see here that it shows up in my list as not paid, when it's due, who the client is, the summary, tags if it's recurring. And I have a couple of other options on here. If I choose that little 3 dots, I can either cancel the invoice, I can get the direct link for the payment, I can send a reminder, I can view it, or I can add a payment if they pay me in cash, check, maybe something else. I can also send that receipt to the client if I want to. Now, if I want to see what the client sees from their side, what you saw originally is what's going to show up in their email. And then the link to pay will look like this. They'll see the invoice, the amount, they can add their credit card details, their expiration, their 3-digit code, their zip code, and pay. And they can always have this as a receipt. This doesn't go anywhere. They can view it at any time here. And that's how you send that one-time payment. If you're sending out recurring payments and you want to kind of check to see the history of those recurring payments, you can go over to recurring series here, and you can see all of the different recurring payments that you have going on. So I can see the ongoing maintenance for this client. It's past due. So I want to see all the invoices that got sent. So I can click view, and now these are filtered just for these series. I can see it's filtered there. So everything is past due. So I need to get on this client and let them know that this stuff is past due. I can easily just click this button and send them a reminder. It'll just send an invoice. If I want to add an option here, please pay me. I have kids to feed. Thanks. Or something, whatever you want to do there, right? But you can send them a reminder to get the invoice paid. Most of the time, it just got lost in their email. They just need a little bit of a poke to pay you. But that's how you use the invoicing inside the Hub by GoDaddy Pro. Again, super easy to set up and get linked out. You also get paid as soon as the next business day. So get paid pretty quickly there, 2.3% transaction fees plus the 30 cents. But ultimately, it's pretty straightforward to get set up and going. We'll be adding a lot of other features to connect it more with the rest of your GoDaddy world. So stay tuned. But I definitely hope I see you in our next lesson.